Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Football Manager 2020 Zero to Hero Youth Factory FC series. It's episode number 15. We're into preseason for the next year. Now, I haven't gone into preseason since the very first year, but I was a lot more active this time during the off season, so I wanted to at least do a little quick coverage of where we're at this point in time as we're gearing up for our first year in the 7th tier of English football. After starting all the way down in the 10th tier with all those ones across the board for the team, we've come a long ways. But we still have a long ways yet to go. In fact, we are far from even halfway just through the gauntlet that is the English pyramid. Now, first off, we're in the transfers tab now, and you can see that everyone and their mother are after my guys. And these are just current, recent offers. The one thing that I have to watch out for are the free transfer ones. We actually did lose somebody that way, but we got them back. It's Les Reed. So Les Reed left on a free transfer. And I caught it. I caught that he had an offer in for a free transfer and wasn't he was non-contract youth only, and he doesn't have high potential, but I still just don't want to see my players leaving that way. And so I locked him down immediately onto a contract, and then he left anyways. So I did bring him back as soon as the deal went through, or almost as soon as the deal went through. I took a couple weeks off vacation. But anyway, here's the actual big news. It's counted as last season. But yes, Nicky Matthews left. We knew that. That was in July a year ago. And that was for $1.1 million. But Williamson Toyne left almost as soon as the season ended. Within just a few days, the offers started flying in, and it was all MLS teams. Because April, the European clubs are still outside of the transfer window. But MLS isn't. So New York Red Bull swept in and took Williamson Toyne for a whopping $1.8 million. That is now our biggest transfer fee. Of course, Matthews had been the biggest before that. But looking at what we had initially to what we had second go round to now, our transfer fees are getting larger and larger and larger all the time. And hopefully it continues to grow every time in what it takes for the board to go, oh, yeah, we're going to sell this guy. Hopefully a couple $100,000 is not enough to get anyone going. Only one of the current players is starting to bring in sizable offers, and it's actually Eddie Warren, who's up to about $20,000 in his string of offers that he's getting. Now the players are just about to come back in about a day or so from their holidays, and then we'll be getting started right away on our preseason. We have quite a few friendlies before we get into the league. The schedule's not out yet. But here's where we're at with finances. So previously, we had pulled in a ton of money in January that wasn't actually a thing. Those players didn't leave. We benefited from, I don't know what, some sort of glitch in the system. But then we were steadily increasing, and then you see this big jump. That is April. That is our jump in the $1.8 million we brought in. And now you can see we actually just saw a massive decline, and that was for a board payout. So the board just paid themselves a crap ton of money because of our nice profits. So no wonder they sold our guys. They wanted the money for themselves. But currently the balance is at $8 million. It's looking pretty good. We are still exactly, give or take a couple days, 1 year away from the completion of our stadium at home. Remember the initial club that I took over and replaced? I couldn't move the stadium. So the stadium was still in Newcastle while we have been playing. Oh gosh, now I've forgotten where we play. Oops. My bad. Oh gosh, it doesn't even say where are we from. Where are we from? The Prudhoe is the Newcastle. We're somewhere over the rainbow, northwest, Carlisle. There it is. It's Carlisle. So, there we go. So, I guess now that I'm here, Nicky Matthews, Frame, Williamson Toyne, all legends now of the team. Gregory already an icon after scoring a ton of goals this year, and I am amongst the many favored personnel with the club. And since we're here, we'll take a look. How have we progressed? Reputation up to a 1227. Club attendance now up to a 148. Finances obviously are looking good. The facilities hanging on. They're still all 20s. I might have to address this at some point if our categories drop. But of course, the stadium, right? And you can see here, there's no city for stadiums, so that's kind of where you get hung out on that one. Stadium is what it is. And as for myself, here's how I have grown. Reputation's coming up. Media handling also went up a bit this year. The consistency, the finances, the discipline, the bias are all very good. The loyalty, mostly good. We just added... I already had Martin Beck as somebody who was an acquaintance. Now we have Colin Myers as well, and a couple random guys that like me. At least I have friends. Now, the big thing we wanted to check out, though, is the attributes and how has this grown? How has my reputation grown? And you can see it's getting up there. I mean, we're up to some 9s. The only 10 is our man management. But everything else is coming along. I mean, outside of I'm a terrible goalkeeping coach and my adaptability, which really doesn't matter at this point, and working with youngsters, still got a long ways to go. It's coming along, but I do have a new license coming here pretty soon. I've got the National A. I'm moving on to a Continental C, so that should give me a boost in the coaching attribute area, at least a few ticks. So looking forward to that one. And in the meantime, I have, current abilities is 79 of the 200. Current reputation now 5,000. So I'm halfway there. So I'm definitely becoming a known commodity, but more so at home than I am around the world. So I'm far from being known by anyone at this point. Okay, on to the club. Williamson Toyne is gone. Also, what has happened is a month ago, the club has gone fully professional, which means even though I already had players on full-time contracts, the team was part-time. Now that the team is full-time, the players suddenly want to get paid. So I've had no less than 7 requests over the last month for new contracts. So I also took it into my own to up the salaries of pretty much all the first team guys to try to avoid that. I've still ended up with additional ones that wanted big pay increases for themselves. But you can see we are now at a point where Dean Moffat, $2,000 a week. That is definitely one of the ones that signed a new deal, and I went ahead and signed those deals. Phil Hammond was another one. Dean McKinnon we signed to a new deal through the normal channel. Drew Dale, we signed to a new deal through the normal channel, and then I went in after and added years to it. But that way they were happy with what they got. But you can see now everybody, the lowest paid player on the first team is Aitken at 150. I'm probably going to have to do a new deal for him here real soon. Otherwise, he's going to come in and ask. I do have one vacancy with Williamson Toyne gone, just in a standard 7 deep, and I really probably could pull up 2 to 3 guys just to kind of help fill out the roster a little bit. So there is some work to be done on that front. The big vacancy right now that I have is I have no backup at left back or left wing. We can kind of move people around anywhere else, but we have nothing at those 2 positions, so I will need to bring up. And you can also see what I've done. I've moved Scott Frame, who last year I started training. He's still unconvincing at it after almost a year of training into it, but not ever playing in it. But he's gone from nothing to at least unconvincing, and we're going to continue to train, and hopefully he'll stay put in this role, because Luka Jackson is a pretty good backup to have. I mean, he's not great, but pretty good backup to have there. So Luka Jackson taking over at left back, Frame moving into Williamson Toynes. I've got to keep some sort of attacking presence of quality. So you can see Frame 4 stars. Gregory is now the standard bearer at 4.5 stars. No, actually it is Frame. Frame is 5 stars, but his suitability for the role drops him down to 4 stars. And you can see our defense also, plenty of guys. So it's now Scott Frame who is the leading member of the team going forward, with Williamson Toyne and of course Nicky Matthews before that being gone. And that's where we're at. So one last thing to look at here is the staff. And the staff has changed significantly. I have a new physio who is on the verge of signing. I signed my first sports scientist. And now that we've gone full-time, we had a slight change to the allocation of coaches. We have one more slot here. The sports scientist slot was a new one. And from that, you can see we have picked up. I hired a goalkeeping coach, which is putting us as best in the league. A pretty good goalkeeping coach, I might add. That happened after we went full-time. Before we were full-time, I still had that same issue of not being able to hire anyone, but suddenly being able to offer them full-time, the amount went up significantly, but I still had to work around. I'm able to offer bonuses, and those bonuses are what put us over the top. Still have a couple of vacancies, but we have enough for now, so I really don't need to go out and hire additional ones. But looking at our training and our coaches, this is how it looks now, at least the ones involved in training the senior team. I've also worked on the U23s and U18s. You can see with a goalkeeping coach, Franz Wolfert, Austrian. He's a 15 across the board in goalkeeping. The one area he's hurting is motivating. Just a 3 for him, and that brings him down to 2.5 stars overall. Otherwise, he would definitely be higher. Of course, we have our fitness coach in Mike Edwards, who was already here. But I have a new assistant coach. I replaced our assistant coach with a definite upgrade here. You can see working with youngsters is an 18, man management's a 13. So Michael West was a recent addition that we just brought in. Firing our other guy, we did take a bit of a penalty to that, but his attacking technical and possession technical, ironically the same place where our previous assistant coach were. The previous assistant coach was 2 stars in both categories. He's 2.5, so it's a light upgrade there, but definitely a strong upgrade in other areas. And then for me, I'm still in the same role, so I'm still at 1.5 stars, still spread out pretty thin. I could certainly use one more coach to go 2 and 2 If he does too, I do too, then all of a sudden I'm not spread thin, and I would see 2 stars in like the defending category where I do see it in the U18s. For the U18s, they have a new head coach. I finally got a head coach for the U18s, so I don't have to manage the U18s anymore. And then that kind of fills out our team. Let's go ahead and move forward towards the end. Hopefully I don't lose any players. I don't think I will. Now that Williamson Toyne is gone, I don't think there's enough interest currently in any other players to suddenly jump before deadline day to that 1.5, 2 million range in some sort of offer. But that's not saying it won't happen. Scott Frame certainly could. Ball certainly could. And going back into our normal look, right? Those are the 2 players that are up there in potential as well as current ability being up there. Tom Gregory is maybe the other one, or Eddie Warren, the other one that are under threat. But even Paul Aitken, Stephen Owen, right? High potential, good quality. Wilkinson, I don't think so much. He's lagging behind a bit. But I do have plenty of players that are in the 60s on their current ability that you can see are a bit above these other guys here. So we very well could be bringing somebody up. Well, we're going to have to bring up at least 1, but I think we'll bring up 2 to 3 players to fill out the senior squad. And I'll set that up, and then we should be moving forward to the first game of the season. Approaching the first day of the season, we are the favorites for our opening game, and it's actually against Workington, which, if I remember correctly, Workington are, yes, they are. They are a team that spent a lot of time in the Vanarama National League, and then were relegated in 13-14, so it hasn't been that long since they were up here. And then you can see that they actually were relegated and then just came back up not too long ago. So relegated a second time just a handful of years later. So we are starting to see our first chunk, not just in Workington, but a number of other teams in the league that have actually played at a higher level, played at that 6th tier. So we're starting to get quite a few teams on the calendar this season that either up there at the start of this series or were up there in recent years. And as we're about to start that first game, we are starting to get a lot more offers coming in. A lot more. Like Gibbons, we're going to reject all loan offers. There we go. We're doing pretty good. New season, right? Couple guys to work into the side. Of course, that time off where you forget things a bit. Style-wise, though, players are pretty much ready to go. Now, a day away from this first game, we're still almost a month out from the end of the transfer season. Excuse me. There we go. So the end of the transfer season on its way, but it's still almost a month out. And I'm up to as many as 3 players where the offers are getting bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on. And as we push a month forward, there's every chance that they could top that 1 million mark. And we could be losing as many as 3 more key players to this squad. Interest site. Da, 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 da. Quickly go through here. Mark counters. Are you excited? Yes, of course. Let's even go passionate. Let's go ahead and stay passionate. Impressive training performance. He is going to start. Dun, dun, dun. Wow, there's a lot of questions to start the season. I usually miss this interview. We're going to go straight away with title favorites. All right, speaking of title favorites, the club objective, win the league. So that's already there right off the bat. And looking at the league, you can see a number of familiar names. Altrincham, Blythe Spartans. I've played as Blythe Spartans. That's been one of my funnest playthroughs. I took them up to about the second or third tier some years ago. I certainly enjoyed that one. That's been one of my longer playthroughs that I've had. That was not a series I did on the channel. That was before I had the channel, but that was definitely a lot of fun for me. FC United, Gainsborough, Gateshead. I know I've played against Marine a bunch of times, but they've always been down at this level. Workington. So definitely some 6th tier sides that have been here in recent times. But if we're looking at season preview, we are the favorites. We are the favorites for promotion. But if you look at the odds, it is not significant odds. For one thing, it's only 3-2, where it's on that negative side, saying that there's every chance that we lose. FC United very close. Gateshead not far off. Warrington very much up there, and then we start to see a little bit of a drop off. But I'd say all the way through, halfway through the league, you're looking at teams with a chance that are not so far off. And in terms of key players, we still have the 2 key players, but both of them could potentially be gone before we get through our first few games. In terms of media Dream 11, we have Frame, we have Moffat, we have Gregory, and Ball all in there. So yes, we are among it, but we are not it. There's very much quality on other teams now that we aren't matching. So we may have a good squad, but we are not the dominant force of the previous few seasons. And last season, we already acknowledged that we were no longer the dominant force. And now Williamson, Toyne gone, potentially Ball, Frame, Warren, all with big offers coming in. Gregory's kind of getting the offers that might blow up before the end of the month. But I could easily lose 1, 2, or 3 of those players before we get to the trade deadline. And if that happens, I don't think we're getting promoted this season. I think we'll still be up there in the league, but I think we might have to stay put for a little while if the board steps in and sells these guys. But let's go ahead and push forward. We've got that first game of the season coming up here momentarily. Also, contributing factor here to the start of the season. You could see our training performance, not great. Big part of that, locker room atmosphere, big negative. I have so many decent offers. We're starting to gain reputation. We're starting to move up some tiers. So instead of everybody coming in and offering nothing or pennies on most of the players outside of your couple, 1 or 2 really good stars, now up and down the roster, even down in the U18s, we're getting that $4, $5, $10,000 offer. So when we start compounding that, half the freaking club has had a decent offer in which they've gone, well, wait, those guys are in the 5th tier. Man, oh man, I could play in the 5th tier? Really? And then they want to go. And so I'm actually dealing with a little bit of a morale crisis. You can see there's a good, well, everybody. I mean, Phil Hammond's the only one who's got really good morale. That's it. That is going to be troublesome as we enter this game. So hopefully we can grab some results over these first few games. Otherwise, we could actually have a pretty slow start to the season, overcoming the negative morale, and this could look a little bit more like our first season. And oh, by the way, just programming note here, I have deactivated the 9th and 10th tiers. It's starting to speed up the playthrough a bit. Having all 10 tiers active, there's just so much to sim. The play speed is fine, but there's so much to sim that it just takes the game a while to go through it. But taking those 2 tiers out takes out roughly half the clubs that are in when you compare it to the other 8 tiers. Each tier gets bigger and bigger and bigger as there's so many divisions across the board. And so you can see Scott Frame up to 140,000 in offers now. You could easily see that topping 1 million by the end of the month. And I have every reason to believe that Scott Frame is probably on his way out. Loan offers also coming in, but I'm not hearing any of those. We are not doing that with anyone. We train from within, we build from within. That's how this playthrough works. And here we go. This is basically our roster that I picked out. There's a couple little changes, like Moffitt in the midfield right now instead of Burton. But you can see bench-wise, all of these guys on the bench are at the 1.5 stars, and there is no one beyond that bench. So injury-wise, we wouldn't necessarily need to fill in. This is an 18-man squad, period. Over time, future seasons, we'll start filling this out, make it closer to a typical 23, 24, 25-man squad, having reserves essentially everywhere, or more typically a 22-man squad, a 2 deep at every position. It's good for practice, so on, to have that. And then the others down to the eligible for U23s, the lowest. See, we still have a couple weaknesses now that we have removed a couple key components. You can see just how much closer the overall ability is across the team. Now we just have Spence, McKinnon, that are some ways off. Luka Jackson, a little ways off from the other members of the squad. But it is getting tighter. So this is kind of the phase we're at now. The superstars are getting swept out away from us, and now we're starting to get a balanced quality squad. Can a balanced quality squad get the job done and win titles, where in the past we've been carried by those superstars that are leaving us one by one? But again, Scott Frame, we've shifted him up into that forward position to help us grab goals. Does take him away from the defense a little bit, but I think we still have some quality at defense. So, hopefully this group can get the job done. I still have a weakness in midfield that we've had ever since with this playthrough. Moffitt's good, but he's a defender playing up. Spence has potential. He is from last year's youth intake, very, very young, can grow, really can grow, and hopefully he grows quickly. But you can see right now, preseason-wise, the 16-year-old not making progress yet. So hopefully with game time, with the senior squad, I really hope he's going to start developing rapidly. As we look over here, Spence is a 69, but he's got 134 potential, so hopefully he can make that jump into the 70s and 80s before long. I believe he was, a 59 last season when he came in 5 months ago. So if he's already improved by 10, and most of this time was over the summer, right? Just a couple months, he's improved by 10. So maybe a few more months, right? This is going to slow down as he gets closer. Maybe a few more months, he'll pick it up to a 79 and start making it into kind of our level. Because I'd say Phil Hammond and above, that's where we want our guys to be right now. So that's 8 players at that level. If we can get Spence up there within a few months, that'll get us up to 9. Maybe McKinnon gets there before long. That'll get us to 10. Luka Jackson, now that he's going to be a starter, right? That's 11 guys right there. If we can get those 3 to make that jump. Wilkinson has not improved much, but again, he only gets limited time. Makes a big difference. But of the group here, it's Gibbons, it's Williams that don't have a lot of progress. Williams has come in as our backup left back and left wing, so I didn't have to bring in multiple guys, and that keeps us right at 18 for now. He doesn't have a ton of potential. My problem is I don't have a quality backup at either of those positions now, so losing Williams and Toyne has hurt us quite a bit. All right, so here we go into the season opener. Are we at home? Did we forget to bring a crowd to this game? Well, our home is still not our home until next season. One thing to keep an eye on for that is how big of a difference will playing at home make for this team next year. Okay, player game you'll win. I think there's more to come. And there you go. All 11 fired up for the season opener. Let's go ahead and jump into the kickoff. We are in our home purple. And yes, I don't see any crowd. I mean, you hear there's somebody there. Season ticket wise, we are looking like we are going to be in a similar state to where we were last year. 150, 160 people a game. And if it's our home opener and we still aren't drawing a crowd, that's not a good sign. So we move up tier and we're not seeing the benefits of that as Hammond recovers that ball. Now in possession, Moffitt up to Jackson. Jackson's got lots of room to run. He's going to lay it off to Frame, but Frame sends it back. Now Jackson, Spence, nice ball on the switch, and we're taken down in the box. Frame is pulled down in the box. Opening minutes, it's actually the 18th minute of the game. And Frame misses wide. Oh, the keeper went the wrong direction too. Tap-in would have been sufficient. Scott Frame takes the opening kickoff. He's been a star for us at left back ever since he's from that first youth intake. And he really messes up a good chance to get the opening goal of the season. And here we go. In possession now. We've got somebody on a yellow card, but in an attacking position, so hopefully that's not a concern. Warren's pass picked off. Here's Frame. Lays it off for Jackson. Jackson, long ball over the top. So close. Oh, almost again. The pressure, the slide in, but it's blocked. He got it, but it was blocked. So 2 saves off the line there for Workington. Keeps the score at 0-0. We approach halftime, and it's still scoreless. Frame, great free kick, open header. Didn't see who was on the end of it, but Frame really struggling right now. A 6.0 rating, and the team as a whole, not a good rating, even though we have 64% possession and 10 shots. And yes, there are some people here. Okay, there is a crowd. They do exist. Just like the M&Ms and Santa. Keep it up. Result will come. There you go. Spence, McKinnon, on ball over the top. What was that? That was just ridiculous. That's offside. Yeah, I saw that. Is this because Frame's playing out of position? Well, he intercepts that one. Off to the races. He's got Owen. Oh, it's Owen playing up there. Okay, it's not Dale. That's good. Owen's much better than Dale. Here's Frame. Great free kick. It was cleared slightly, but then we get the volley. The volley's on target, but no good. I don't know why Frame is having such a terrible rating today, but I clearly would need to sub him out. But Williams is a huge step backwards. But I kind of have to, otherwise I'm going to get punished severely. He's playing nervous. Here's Gregory. Nice ball over the top to Owen. Owen back inside to Gregory, and there, finally, first goal of the season. Took us an hour. And this is what I'm talking about. This, I think, is going to be a much tougher year. That was a really nice ball. Really nice control from Owen. And a great pullback, recognizing that he's got a whole line of orange jerseys, which is weird because my team that I played on last night, we have orange jerseys. Hammond nearly makes it 2 in a back-to-back, kind of like what Arsenal did in their game. Well, for me, it was today. I'm recording this on Sunday. Oh, and the score is level. What a free kick. But Howie scores the goal here. Daya, fantastic free kick. Poor defense on the header. Blondie here, number 5, really gave away that chance. Didn't get in the air, didn't defend it, and now I have no choice but to sub off Scott Frame because of how poorly he is doing and the fact that he's playing nervous. No. Well, so is Luka Jackson. Can I move Frame? This is going to hurt our chances, but he's got such a pitiful rating. I have to sub him out of there. 17-6 on the chances. We have got to... Oh my goodness. We have got to do more here. Williams misses that one. That could have been Frame. Into stoppage time already. Here's Spence. Nice cross. McKinnon! Goal! In stoppage time. Season opener, and we pull it out. Are you kidding me? What a ball from Spence, though. Poor camera movement to keep up with McKinnon, but McKinnon there for the simple volley. Just inside the right corner. Onside. We don't see McKinnon. Yeah, we see Gregory, not McKinnon, but McKinnon gets into the advanced position. 10 seconds left. Owen lays it off. Moffitt. Warren into the edge of the box. It's blocked. Chance to counter. No, it's cleared. Again with the counter. Time's up. Owen. Moffitt. Ahead. No. Recover. And there's the final whistle. We just squeeze out the win to open the season. I do have a feeling we are going to have a lot of games that are closer this season than what we've had before. Frame really missed a chance early on to help the team gain a bit of confidence. And you can clearly see that Frame was rattled from it as he never recovered. That rating of his was awful. And you know it starts, and most of it came from that missed penalty. But he never seemed to recover. He played nervous the whole way. Jackson played nervous as well, but really, I have the one sub for that side. Williams came in for the one who struggled more. That will result in a pat on the back, though. Good job. We're supposed to be the league favorites. That was a home game, and we struggled through our season opener. But I did tell you, morale is low. We need to build the locker room confidence if we're going to gain some results. This could be a difficult start to the season, and we at least open with 3 points. But man, oh man, that was close. That was very close. So, season starts with a win, but like I said, early days, this first month, 2 major challenges face this team. 1, transfers. Frame especially, they are starting to come in with pretty big offers, and we still have almost a month left in the transfer season. And 2, the morale right now from all of those offers, a lot of the players currently are in that, oh please, let me go play at a higher level mode. So morale is low. Locker room atmosphere. And will we lose any players? And guaranteed, any player we lose is going to be a key player because it's going to be a huge offer coming in. And again, the ones I've got to watch out for, Ball, Frame, Warren, and Gregory. Those are the 4 that the bigger offers are coming in on. Right now, we're secure on Moffitt and Owen, Aitken. They're not getting big offers, but they're still getting enough to upset the apple cart in the morale department. Even Drew Dale, way the heck down here, just a 58 quality, wants to get loaned, is mad, he's unhappy, he's lost trust in me because I didn't let him go out on loan. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. Just the season opener. A little different than what I've done in seasons past. But like I said, there's a lot more going on now that we're hitting a higher tier. And it's involved myself a lot more. We did a lot of staff changes. I did go in. I didn't do everyone. But tactically, our defense, anyway, at this point, I have given individual instructions to a lot of these guys to work on becoming more natural at the roles that they play, because I'm not planning on changing our style, our tactic anytime soon. Therefore, I want them to adapt and grow into these roles. And you can see there's a lot of weakness in this. Moffat, not training this. He's been training defense. So that is one thing, but you can already see Frame still unconvincing, but it's not orange anymore. Frame is now yellow, so he is developing the inside forward position a bit, and we can see he's gone from a 4-star to a 4.5 star. I believe that that's now at least going to be enough that Frame will stay put in this position. My assistant manager has not been pushing me to play him at left back like our previous assistant manager was when he was not yet trained. He was still a deep orange. It wasn't red. He had some ability to play there. That I didn't come up with this plan out of nowhere. It did start with Frame being capable of playing up there, and I was looking at playing Williamson-Toyne as the striker. Instead, we went with Gregory. Kept Williamson-Toyne there, kept Frame as that left back, but of course I'm missing that now. I'm missing the Frame effect in creating those chances over the top, those one-on-ones with the keeper that we were so effective with. So big challenges going forward. Can we emerge out the other side? And of course the big thing is this first month of the season is going to be vital to our chances this year. If the morale doesn't pick up, and if we lose a player or two, I don't think we're going to win the league this season. And I think it's going to be a lot tighter than it has been outside of that first year where we lost every match, or just about every match. I think this season is going to be the lowest points total we've had in quite a while, and it's going to take a couple stars again to maybe pick us up, or at least getting, Spence, some other midfielder alongside him, Jackson, to pick up their ability quite a bit, McKinnon to develop. McKinnon's been in this role now for a season and a half, 2 seasons, not developing terribly well. He is fairly balanced, but a marking of 2 is not good. A finishing of 5 is not good. He's got some decent across-the-board ability, but we're definitely missing some of those guys that are not with the club anymore. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.